Hello everyone, how you going? And welcome back to Animalsbeingbros, the sub that, well, in my opinion, is one of the best ones out there. You often just get to see some pretty incredible interactions between some very uncommon kind of animals, starting off with pretty darn good cuddle buddies. Oh, would you look at that right off the bat? Like I was just saying, you get those very uncommon animal interactions just like this. I guess for this sub it's not too uncommon, but generally speaking, to see a dog like that just cuddling a cat, it's just virtually unheard of in real life. I think my favorite part is just all the other animal sounds in the background. You got the rooster at the start and then whatever else there is. I think it's chickens and maybe some other birds as well. All while the dog's legs are just providing a nice comfy kind of lounge for the cat. And I've just even noticed that, look, the chin of the dog is virtually just resting on the cat. I don't know if it actually is taking weight, but it looks as though they're just having a little exchange here. Like I said, the dog is a nice comfy lounge in exchange for a nice headrest. So really, we've only just started and we're already going, oh, look at that. Knocked over by the cow's affection. Oh, what is with animals and their leaks as well? That must just be a puppy and a calf, because look at the size of them. Oh, wow, that is going for the whole hog. The full nose lick, no worries. And then there's the full stretch at the end. But yeah, like I was saying, that must be a very young cow as well, because you can kind of tell that that dog isn't massive, but the cow isn't that much taller. In the scheme of how big cows get, that cow is definitely not very big. I'm almost surprised that the dog isn't giving any licks back. Dogs are usually the first one in there to try and give licks. Maybe it's a little bit taken aback about how many licks it's getting, and it just goes, look, I cannot compete with a tongue that size. And again, the exact thing of what this sub is, just random animal combinations that we get to see. Well, what, 100%, 2 from 2 so far. And so I guess we'll count and see how many we end up with at the end. But like I said, in the end, it doesn't even matter how many you see. Every single time you see one, you just go, oh man, look at that. Chicken looking after kitties during a storm. Well, I guess from the title, we already knew what it was going to be, but that is 3 from 3 of random animal combinations. I do wonder what this kind of splodge is here. It looks as though there's 1, 2, I don't know, maybe a third cat. But I am wondering if they were feral cats or household cats, because I can't imagine a feral cat, no matter how young, behaving too well around chickens. But if they're house cats and they're kind of been told and taught, I don't know how you teach a cat to behave around chickens, but if they've kind of been taught and whatnot that they're not meant to go after the chicken, then hey, I guess the mother hen and the chicken can finally come out. Because if you're taking the eggs every day, they're obviously not going to have anything to sit on. They're just empty nesters at that point. So finally she goes, oh, thank goodness. I can finally use my big wings. Look at these here just completely coming down. Just as impenetrable walls on either side of the cat. So hopefully this kind of relationship can continue into the future. As the cats get older and they might become a little bit more aggressive or a little bit more predatorial, then hopefully things don't go sideways. But perhaps by that time the relationship can kind of swap over and the cats come in to try and protect the chicken for something that might be trying to harm it. Who knows? But at least for now they're getting along, and hopefully as they grow up, maybe they can teach some other cats the tricks of the trade about how not to be as kind of savage towards birds and chickens and whatnot. Horse on the left, Alona is blind. She had a buddy Jacko to look out for her. Wow! You can even see the massive cataracts as well. Like, you just see how frosty that eye is. I'd never even considered the fact that a horse might go blind. Some of them can live pretty long. How long can a horse live for? 25 to 30 years. So it makes sense as to why towards the end of their life that they would be getting cataracts and going blind. But it's good to see that these two horses are kind of challenging the whole idea that horses are just dumb animals, This guy on the right, Jacko, look at him. He's just holding up the food pan so that she can get to it. I mean, if that isn't two best mates, I don't know what is. Because obviously it could so easily be the other way around, where the Jacko just doesn't let her have any food ever. And of course, without help, whether from the horse or human, she wouldn't have made it to be that old. But still, just the fact that Jacko, whether he's been taught or I don't even know, if nothing else, at least for this snapshot in time, just was able to hold the pan up so she could have a little munch. But actually, this is our first non-random animal combination so far, isn't it? So look, now we're at 75%. The percentage drops really quickly when you have such low numbers. But yeah, horses really are just incredible animals, just from the physicality of them. And then I reckon they're also a little bit more intellectual than many people give them credit for. Norma, 2 years old, and Charlie, 14 years old. Norma helps his older pal remember dinner time. Oh, looking at those dog bowls, I can only imagine you're going to have two dogs here. Oh, he comes sprinting up. Go on, go tell him. And then he just runs away. Wow, just the barking to let them know. Look, I go to my vantage point and then no worries. Look at him, he just runs around the house, no worries. Come on, Charlie, come on, come on. Norma obviously wants to go to dinner as well, considering they keep running back to the bowl. But here we go, Charlie's finally arrived. This is pretty much just like the last post, Obviously we have the same species, 2 dogs, and there was 2 horses last time. And again, you just have the younger one looking after the older one. There are plenty of people that could certainly take a life lesson or two from these animals. And I think it's especially helped by the fact that Norma is a 2-year-old puppy that just has limitless energy. It's just bouncing off the walls. Like you saw how that dog climbed up onto the couch, just sprung up onto the top pillow, just bouncing around left, right, down around the corner. Come on, Charlie. Come on, mate. Let's go, let's go. And then finally, the slow waddle of Charlie, the 14-year-old, just comes out all excited, as excited as a 14-year-old can be. And then finally, Norma and Charlie get to have their dinner together. However, I do find it quite funny that Charlie gets to be served first, After Norma does all the work bouncing around trying to get the attention of Charlie, Norma ends up being fed second. But hey, it certainly seems that Norma is totally totally fine with that, considering that I imagine they get fed 5 seconds later. And obviously if you can say go get Charlie and they go get Charlie, well then they're doing something right. My son has autism, and one of his unique traits is his need for physical contact at all times. Barb came into our lives and elected herself to the position of a weighted blanket and bodyguard. Oh man, I'm so glad that so many of these puppies are just getting kind of the spotlight, because dogs are just so good like that. They just love hugs and whatnot. You know, as long as they're getting out once or twice a day, they're generally just going to be lying around the house for the rest of the day. So to see someone like this and to see that dog that is just so in love, and like they said, just a weighted blanket and bodyguard, it's just so nice to see, because I can only imagine with the fact that, as you said, your son needs physical contact at all times, that it'd be really difficult, you know, regardless of whether you'd want to or not. It just isn't feasible to be able to provide that contact at all times through just yourself. But then having a dog that can just kind of hang out all day, just keeping company, is just great. Now, I don't really know if we can count this one in terms of the random animal combinations, because let's be honest, you know, the whole thing of dogs is man's best friend. So I almost feel as though it's a given with this, but still, I guess that we could kind of half put in that category. But I think my favorite part about this whole post was just the title, you know, the weighted blanket and bodyguard. It's just such a descriptive way to explain what's going on here without just saying, well, I guess the dog lies with him all day, full stop. And I guess it also makes sense, you know, if you've ever seen pack animals, they generally do like to kind of lounge on top of each other, whether that be cats or chickens or, I don't know, ferrets and whatever it may be. They generally don't seem to have personal space bubbles. So I guess in this case, it would probably work for both of them. So good on you, Barb. It makes total sense and it's nice to see. My cat Molly got a surprise visit a couple of days ago. We're living on the 3rd story. Here we go. Look at that. A raccoon, I imagine. I'm fairly sure that that's a raccoon and a cat. But like you said, 3rd story. That's pretty impressive, the fact that they're getting up there at 3rd story. I guess they are kind of renowned for kind of getting around places. But look at that. They're just kind of checking each other out. We're not kind of going at each other. Just kind of, what are you? What's going on here? I don't know if you're living in an area where Molly would probably see them all the time or not, so that maybe it's not a big deal in that regard. But still, just the fact that they're both completely chill, you know, they're just staring at each other, what, literally 5 centimeters away from each other. If there wasn't glass there, I would wonder what would happen. Just this first little bit where they're just completely slithers up nose to nose. It's as though they're trying to smell each other, but I imagine they just really wouldn't be able to. Oh, and you just hear those sounds that the cat's making, just the slight little purring, or I don't really know what to call it. It sounds like a bit of rubber on glass or something. But hang on, this adds to our tally of how many random animal combinations we have. I think this is going to be number 5 out of 7 or something like that, which isn't bad going. Oh, but look at that. I've just seen in the background there that it looks as though your bin is there. Look at that. Here we go. Yeah, we got your food waste, whether that is compost or that is actually your bin. But it makes sense now why they've come up 3 stories just to get to that bin. You know, I can only imagine that the raccoon got one hell of a fright when it suddenly came up and was confronted by a cat that was right behind it. You know, I'd certainly be freaked out if some random person appeared behind me, whether it's through glass or not. So I can imagine this video is just after that first interaction, but just the kind of curiosity. I just love it. It's almost as though they're treating each other as one species, but they're just going, hey, you look a little bit weird. But no, really, this is quite a special combination. I can only imagine there are a whole lot of cats that would not be doing what this cat is, you know, just absolutely going crazy. Then I can also imagine there's a whole lot of raccoons that wouldn't just kind of be chilling there. But of course, we're seeing these two guys because there's Animals Being Bros. Wind me up, John, wind me up. Oh no. Oh no. This is like being in primary school or something and spinning your best friend around on the swing just to make them dizzy. Look at this. Hey, it is literally that exact thing where someone would be lying on the swing and you would just turn it and turn it and turn it and then just let go and they would just spin around and around, and then, you know, sometimes there's a little bit of mess involved after the fact, but it is literally this exact situation. You can just see how kind of, I guess to say, without a better way to say it, but how human they are. Just the way they interact with each other and use that, well, I don't know what to call it besides the swing loop or whatever it is, you know, it's just a toy really, and they're just playing with it in the same way I would expect anyone to. I think I especially love just the knees and arms stuck in, you know, just the ball they make so nothing hits the ground. Oh man, it really just is incredible. And I wonder how old they are, because they certainly don't look too old, so maybe it is literally just like 2 primary school kids just playing around on a swing. Even just this little bit at the end I just saw, ready? He lets him go, it looks as though he spins him around, and then ready, oh, it spins him back around, and it looks as though he goes to punch him because he goes, oi, what have you just done to me? Every little bit about this video is just incredible to watch as an interaction. And I wonder how long they do this for, you know, if this was just 2 kids, they could spend all day just doing this, and I wonder if it's the same for these guys. You can just see why they're such close relatives to us, can't you? But hey, I guess if we're keeping track of our total so far, this is 2 of the same species, so our percentage of posts has gone down a little bit, but that's alright, you know, this is such an incredible video to watch anyway. I love you, babies. Whoa. What? Giving them a kiss, gonna feed the babies? That was a kiss? Wow, that is unbelievable. Oh my goodness, look at that. Obviously it's a parrot, so it's learnt those phrases, but just the fact that it is a connection is just incredible. It is absolutely bang on. Look at that. Gonna feed the babies, give them a kiss, and then ready? Just a That sound right there is unbelievably good. Because, you know, given the fact that it's actually making that sound, not just that's what happens with the kiss, because it's just two beaks. That is just incredible. I know birds are smart, but I've never seen anything like this. And then at the end here, just the I love you. I also think it's incredible because you can hear the lilt of the woman that speaks when she says, come on, give him a kiss. It's the same tone the bird uses, which makes sense where the bird's picked it up from, but it's still incredible that is that tonal and that perfect when it's speaking. So yeah, like I said, I've never seen anything like that. And there are plenty of other birds that are actually better than a parrot. So I can only imagine how incredible it would actually be if you could get one of those birds, let alone whatever this bird is. I think it might be a lorikeet or a parrot. Lorikeet, no, it's not a lorikeet. That's too Australian. Oh, which one could it be? I don't know. There are so many bird species out there. Oh, well, I can't find it, but whatever the bird is, but that is just an incredible thing that it has picked up. And so the top of Animals Being Bros for the month is anyone want some bread? Biscuits? Oh, well, we've got copyrighted music, so I'll just have to mute it, but oh, look at that massage. That cat is just giving that corgi, I imagine, just a nice, good old massage. You know, we just had the parrot picking up the phrase that the woman had been saying, and now this cat has picked up the fact that, you know, people like massages and pats, and maybe it's just something I could do. Because I think I've said it before, it must be incredible to feel how fluffy something is when you're already fluffy yourself. Perhaps they don't even really feel it, but in my head, they're just like multiplying how fluffy things are. Watching the video a second time though, it might actually be more along the lines of the cat is actually just tenderizing the dog for when cats actually eventually take over the world. You know, it looks as though it's from a place of love, but actually, if you think about what a cat is actually thinking, going, yes, don't mind me, I'm just going to stab you in the back later on. But no, I think the only way that this would have been any better is if the dog actually then suddenly rolled over and actually started giving the cat a massage too. I mean, I guess if we're thinking about it, we're keeping track of all our posts and whatnot. Obviously with the last one, which was the same animals, with this one is the same as the first one we had, you know, a cat and a dog just kind of loving each other, no worries. I mean, I guess it makes sense why it would be, you know, they're the two most common animals, and when they're put together, they seem to be pretty good mates, generally speaking. But it still doesn't make me love these videos any less. It is just such an incredible kind of massage action though, just the kind of the big paws on top, no worries. Obviously they can't exactly get their thumbs into it like we could, but hey, I don't think it gets much better than that without opposable thumbs. So yeah, really, you know, I just wish every animal on the planet was able to get along as well as these guys do, because man, it would just be incredible to see, and that includes humans as well. You know, we certainly don't do anywhere near well enough for treating animals how they should be treated. It would just be so nice to see. But anyway, that's gonna do it for the double month of Animals Being Bros. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the YouTube analytical things down below. Other than that, I've been posting a lot of these videos, so maybe want to check some of the other amazing posts that we've seen out. You know, we even see some random combinations of animals on some other subs, so make sure you check those out. Or perhaps you just want to consider subscribing so don't miss another one in the future. Blah, blah, blah. Have a good one and see ya.